I start recording this video and the charger, there's a bunch of craziness. Okay, so I have to start all over. The reason why, oh well, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video. The reason why I'm doing this video is because I've been led to talk to people about various different topics, political, social issues, but most importantly to me, spirituality and spiritual topics. Um, for those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Danielle. I also go by my birth middle name, which is Heather, Het. Um, and um, yeah, hi. So I also like to start off by issuing an apology to people that have kind of looked to me for guidance or that has relied on me to be a part of certain endeavors, and I've kind of taken a step back within the last few months, and no one quite seems to understand why or where I've been or what I've been doing. I've been kind of going through my own spiritual transformation, and I know it seems like I have it all put together and I know a lot of things, but I am still a spirit having this, going through this human experience, you know? And it gets rough, especially when you're going through a spiritual transformation and you're kind of, I'm not going through it alone, but it's your spiritual path is a path that you must take alone. So it's been enlightening and it's been rough on me, and I kind of needed to take a step back and reevaluate myself, reevaluate the things that I was participating in, the people that I was surrounding myself with. Not to say that anything was horrible, but when you're going through a spiritual transformation to this magnitude, you kind of need to be alone and isolate yourself and get to know yourself again, because you're changing. That's what a transformation is all about. So shout out to everyone that has kind of respected my boundaries and respected my spiritual space, and respected me as an activist or as a leader, as a friend. I love you guys, and I think I'm ready to be available to the people again, and I think I'm going to try to be really consistent with these videos, and this is going to be a spin-off of Rebel Release until I get all of my panel together and all of the topics together and the equipment. There's a lot of equipment that may be needed for me to start this podcast, so just bear with me. But in the meantime, I will be doing videos talking about spirituality and the transformations that people may be experiencing and how it may affect you and the people around you. And I know it's scary, people going through these changes, and I'm sorry that I've kind of neglected everyone. Knowing what I know, I felt like I've kind of, but it was also, it's divine timing. Everything is a divine timing, and I wasn't ready. I had to deal with my own insecurities and my own issues and personal things. So thank you for bearing with me. So yeah, my spiritual transformation, there's many different levels and different things that can trigger your spiritual transformation or your spiritual awakening. It can be depression, something exciting happening, someone dying. Anything could trigger you having an awakening. There can be a social issue that kind of resonates with you or connects with you, and it impacts you so much that you want to do something about it, and it kind of sends you off on this other path. But I guess I'll start by, I guess I'll give you guys like a back story really quick about when I first had my first, because there's different levels and different awakenings. My first one, I would say, started back in like 2007, 2008. I became really interested in politics, and I was always interested in like TV shows like Meet the Press. When I was a teenager, like 17, I loved debates and uh, astrology and numerology, and I love different topics. I just was really into like, I was like a secret closet nerd. So I felt like it was kind of meant for me in 2007 when Obama first started to run, or his name started to get out there. I don't think I was old enough to vote, but I do remember being really interested in his presidency and his campaign. And that kind of caused me to start researching politics, being more interested in politics. And um, of course, when you start researching politics, you start, if you're researching the right way, you'll start finding out about the unseen things, the hidden agendas, and the lobbyists and the corporations that kind of uh, control our government. So I started getting really heavily involved in political activism in about 2008. And um, I didn't know that that was a part of my spiritual transformation. I just thought I was pissed off about a bunch of things and I wanted to do something about it. I took a few trips. I went to Arizona by myself for 5 days and Vegas by myself for 5 days. And I was kind of on a spiritual, like looking for myself. I was really down. It was like a really deep, dark depression I was in, really dark. And so I started taking these trips to kind of like spend a lot of alone time with myself to get to know myself. And I stumbled upon crystals while I was on my way back to Philadelphia from Arizona. Um, I stumbled into this store and they had like chakra bags and candles and stuff like that. So I purchased a chakra bag. I was already kind of into meditation, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was just trying it out, watching little YouTube videos and researching little things, going in and out of the library, taking out different books on different things. And I came back with this chakra bag to Philadelphia and I started using these crystals and I I just noticed a transformation within myself. So I sought them out here in Philadelphia and my collection grew really quickly. And that's kind of like a little backstory on how I winded up on the more spiritual path. Um, Throughout this whole spiritual path, I was really, sorry about that, guys. That was my sister just barging in my room. She's staying with me for a few days. Um, so I forgot where I was. But that was, yeah, that was just a little backstory on to talk about how I got on the spiritual path, even though getting into political activism and social activism, um, it's a spiritual journey. Whether you are agnostic or an atheist, you are on a spiritual journey, whether you know it or not. Um, it's just for you to reawaken to that idea. Um, so I kind of want to start talking about um, some of the things that you might notice to kind of um, get you to realize that you might be having a spiritual transformation. Again, this video is for people that may not understand what's been happening to them energetically, or they may not understand numerology or astrology or different transits, different planet positions. When people talk about the Mercury retrograde or Jupiter going direct, if you may not understand things like that, these videos are going to be for you. I'm going to try to break them down into simple terms and talk about things you might be experiencing that may um, that may be causing you to feel the way that you do. or things you might be experiencing different things around you, and you may not be understanding where that energy is coming from or why you feel that way. You might be going through a spiritual transformation or awakening, whatever you want to call it. So, okay. So, the first thing I noticed with me was I took a huge interest in, even though I did already kind of have this interest, I'm a Pisces with a Scorpio moon. My rising sign is Gemini. So, I'm already really heavily into knowledge and spirituality. But the first thing that I noticed with me is that I got really interested in politics. And I was really young. I was probably like 22, 23, 21. Even when I was like 17, I think I was into this stuff. But yeah, when I was like 17, 16, I was kind of like into politics for some reason. But um, but if your interest in those things that you haven't really paid attention to before kind of grows, like you start paying more attention to the news, what's going on in foreign countries and stuff like that, and it's starting to bother you, that may be a sign that you may be having a spiritual transformation. Um, your change of diet. I know for me, when I started having my transformation, I've always been kind of like a picky eater, but I never really liked greasy foods or fried foods. But I know when I got really heavily involved in my spirituality or heavily involved in political things, I started breaking away from wanting to eat meat, dairy, um, junk food. Just things didn't resonate with me anymore. Like I actually started to get sick or feel really down when I ate those things. Your sleep patterns might change. Um, I I naturally already have insomnia. I'm always awake, but sleep paralysis is another thing, another video a thing I want to talk about. You might experience sleep paralysis. You might stay up late at night, can't sleep, and you find yourself researching things late at night, or you sleep a lot during the day. And I have a really cool theory on why uh, awakened people sleep a lot during the day and they're up at night. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. But it's something that came to me. But you are more emotional. I notice that people that are, or for me as well, when you are going through a spiritual transformation, you are really down, you feel depressed, you start to cry, things start to bother you. I cry from seeing roadkill. Like I've always been that way. Like I'm such a crybaby. Anybody that knows me knows I can cry.